The Cleveland Browns are collapsing in plain sight, and the spectacle is so dramatic, so chaotic, that it has become impossible to ignore. This isn't a normal losing streak or the usual turbulence of a struggling franchise. This feels deliberate, like a slow, methodical unraveling engineered by the very people responsible for steering the team. The franchise promised a bright future, promised development, promised accountability. But instead, all anyone can see is the dismantling of a young quarterback's confidence and the suffocating grip of a coaching staff determined to prove themselves right, no matter how wrong their decisions have been. Cleveland fans have seen dysfunction before, but this is something else entirely, something darker and far more infuriating. Kevin Stefanski, once celebrated as Coach of the Year, now finds himself standing at the center of a rapidly intensifying firestorm. Every microphone pointed his way sounds like a countdown. The trust is gone, the patience evaporated, and his stubbornness has become a threat to more than just the team's record. Fans are demanding answers. Analysts are tearing apart his decisions. Former players are speaking openly about the absurdity unfolding in Cleveland. At this point, even his most loyal supporters can see the writing on the wall. Stefanski appears more concerned with protecting his pride and preserving the status quo than doing what's necessary to help his team win. And no matter how he tries to spin it, the world sees the truth. His refusal to make critical changes is choking the life out of the Browns. The breaking point came after a humiliating loss to the New York Jets, a team with one win and nothing to play for. This wasn't just another Sunday disappointment. This was an indictment of everything wrong with the Browns. The Jets, battered by injuries, limping through a disastrous season, beat Cleveland handily. It was a reality check that should have forced immediate change. Yet Stefanski walked into the post-game press conference and delivered the same tired phrases, the same monotone excuses, and the same inflexible commitment to Dillon Gabriel as the starter. Reporters asked the question every sane person was thinking: would he consider a quarterback change? And even with the walls crumbling around him, Stefanski insisted he would not. He clung to the same plan that had already driven the Browns to the bottom of the standings. It wasn't just a bad decision. It was a declaration. He would rather sink with Gabriel than give Shedeur Sanders even a single shot at proving himself. It was ego disguised as leadership, stubbornness masquerading as loyalty. And it was the moment Cleveland fans had finally had enough. The city exploded in outrage. Sports radio lit up with calls demanding Stefanski's firing. But no one captured the moment like longtime Cleveland voice Tony Rizzo. His anger crackled through the airwaves, saying what tens of thousands felt deep in their chests. He called for a total cleansing of the organization. He blamed not only Stefanski but also general manager Andrew Berry, accusing them of sabotaging the franchise and embarrassing the city. His frustration was raw, built from years of disappointment, but this time it felt different. This wasn't a rant for entertainment. This was a warning. If ownership didn't step up and take responsibility, the fans would. And Rizzo made it clear he wasn't afraid to apply pressure in a way Cleveland's leadership hadn't felt in a long time. But Cleveland's anger didn't stay local. It spread nationally. Former NFL star LeSean McCoy stepped into the conversation and ripped into the Browns' handling of Shedeur Sanders with a level of concern rarely seen from someone outside the organization. McCoy questioned whether Shedeur would even play at all this year. He asked why a talented young quarterback, fully recovered and practicing well, continued to sit while the offense collapsed. And then he said what everyone else had danced around. He believed Kevin Stefanski would rather get fired than play Shedeur Sanders. That statement landed like a thunderclap. Because if true, it exposed something far more alarming than bad coaching. It suggested the existence of politics, of personal agendas, of internal sabotage. It implied that Stefanski's refusal to play Sanders wasn't football-based at all, but rooted in ego or internal power struggles. McCoy made it clear that something didn't add up, and he boldly stated he had never seen anything like it in his entire career. Meanwhile, inside the locker room, players remained silent. When Myles Garrett, the face of the franchise, was asked about the quarterback situation, he dodged the question entirely. His answer was diplomatic, emotionless, and frustrating. Garrett didn't want to step into the chaos, didn't want to ignite controversy, didn't want to confront the coaching staff. And while many understood his restraint, the silence still hurt. If someone of his stature refused to speak out, what chance did Shedeur have? He became an isolated figure within an organization that seemed determined to pretend he didn't exist. The most unsettling part is how familiar this all feels, like watching history repeat itself with different names and different faces. People have quietly compared this situation to past controversies, where quarterbacks were frozen out of opportunities for reasons that had nothing to do with their talent. But this time, it feels even more chaotic, because no one can identify a single logical explanation. Everyone is guessing, speculating, creating theories that grow more disturbing by the day. Maybe the Browns fear the media circus of Coach Prime having a son in Cleveland. Maybe Stefanski is fighting a political war with Andrew Berry. Maybe they believe the offense is so broken they want to shield Sanders from disaster. Or maybe it's something deeper, something no one outside the organization knows. Whatever the truth is, the world can see what's happening. A young quarterback's career is being stalled before it even begins. And the longer this continues, the harder it will be for Sanders to recover. Quarterbacks don't have unlimited time. They need reps, live action, experience. They need to make mistakes and learn. They need to feel the speed of the game. Sanders is being denied all of that. And every week wasted chips away at his momentum and his future. For Stefanski and Berry, the consequences are already unfolding. The calls for both to be fired grow louder with every passing game. Fans are no longer just angry. They are exhausted. Cleveland has endured decades of failure, bad hires, and false promises. And this latest chapter feels like a cruel extension of that history. If ownership doesn't intervene soon, the Browns risk wasting not just this season but the next several years. Because sabotaging a quarterback's development is one of the most unforgivable sins in professional football. Yet through all the chaos, there is one undeniable truth. Shedeur Sanders deserves better. He deserves coaches who believe in him, leaders who support him, and an organization that values his future. Whether that ends up being in Cleveland or somewhere else is now the question looming over this franchise. The Browns are running out of time to make the right decision. And if they don't, they may lose not just a talented young quarterback, but whatever remains of their credibility. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think the Browns are intentionally holding back Shedeur Sanders? Should Stefanski and Andrew Berry be fired immediately? And what future do you see for Sanders if Cleveland continues down this path? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the biggest stories in sports. Your voice matters, and this conversation is just getting started.